What is up? This is Fling with DFS Army, and this is your Week 2 cash game review. All right, let's start this out with a little parade of DFS Army VIPs who cashed in Week 2. So, obviously, there's a great reason why you want to play cash so you can profit to be a profitable DFS player. This helps minimize GPP losses. 2-0 in cash games this week from Graham. Use your video settings. You recommended cash every game on DK. Two versus two, using the back test strategy. So 2 of 2 paid for GPPs. Awesome notes. So we love seeing DFS Army VIPs cash build bankroll, become profitable. You could try becoming a DFS Army VIP right now. $10 for your first week. Use code Crunch. This gives you the cheat sheets, all the tools, the optimizer, the Discord, the DFS Army community. I will put the link in the video description, but at checkout, just remember, use code Crunch for $10 for your first week. So we're going to get into my cash lineup. I played Cooper Cup and Cash, who, kind of failed because he got hurt. So ended up not being a profitable cash week for me. Now, I actually won the majority of my head-to-heads, but I didn't hit the $25 double up. And because of the rake, the 80% you're paying to or 20%, 20 cents rake you're paying on the dollar, I didn't actually profit this week in cash. But overall, I think my process was right. One thing that I identified through back testing, through looking, through playing cash a lot, over the past years, and I kind of went against my rule this week, and I regret that, is playing too many players from the same team in cash. So even though this was a really good spot for the Rams, Cup got hurt. They have offensive line issues. They just really failed overall. So playing 3 Rams in my cash lineup was really what crushed me. I would have been able to absorb the Cooper Cup injury had I played Chris Godwin in this spot. The cash line was actually, you can see, if we can get this loaded. Of course, we're gonna try to load this now. This was loaded, and then it's not loaded now. So let's try this again. Yeah, it was this double up because the main one wasn't posting the numbers correctly. But in 29 points. Yeah, 129.20 was the cash line. So yeah, I was at 122. Had I played Chris Godwin, he got 27 points. That's another 12 points there. And I would have been able to just faded Cooper Cup in this spot, of course, and just did a 1-for-1 with Godwin. Same thing, but I was on Cooper Cup. He was the right play. 90% of the field was. You can't account for injuries. He got 21 targets a week before. He was 7,700. He was mispriced. So that's the type of player you want in your cash lineup. So that was the right process. I think just, looking back, I would have played going forward Chris Godwin in this spot over Kyron Williams because of the fact that 3 players from one team, when that team bombs on offense like the Rams did, to score 10 points, that your stack fails. And that's why we typically don't want to stack in cash games where we're trying to minimize variance. Overall, though, love the lineup. The process on Jaden Daniels, I think, was right. It was a lower scoring week for Mahomes. He got 16 points, but he was more expensive. So, that's kind of why I didn't want to play Mahomes. He doesn't have the floor that everyone thinks he does. Hall, great from Hall for cash. He even got 2 touchdowns vultured from him. Still was able to get 24 points. Jordan Mason was an all-in play for us. he was underpriced relative to his role as well, and he was just a lock in cash, which is why he was basically 5,200 free square. Almost 100% of the field played him. I thought Debo Samuel was in a really good spot too with Christian McCaffrey out, and he delivered. Yoshi Voss, I liked him off of Robinson because I didn't want four players from the Rams. I really didn't even want three. I ended up with three, but I liked Oshie Voss, and that was a great pivot there. Um, just kind of minimize the amount of Rams that I had in my lineup. And then the Jaguars D had the money a little bit, not much of a pay up, and what wasn't really full price, but Watson had been bad, and you had the money, so I think that's why I went with the Jags. I suppose the other alternative is could have paid down a defense a little more, and then also just went up in salary from Kyron Williams. That probably would have got me to the cash line as well. But you could see on the chalkboard, this was pretty, well spelled out for you, the best plays. We could see Patrick Mahomes and Jaden Daniels. Those were the two top owned guys. Kyler Murray certainly became cash viable as well. Late in the slate, once his ownership started coming up before lock. Cooper Kupp was that lock. Debo Samuel, Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice certainly would have been another option. Him and Chris Godwin. And I think Rashee Rice had a pretty good day, like 21 points. So probably would have hit the cash line as well, just by playing Rashee Rice. But yeah, these were really the best cash plays. And this is DFS Army VIPs. You have access to the chalkboard. Really, you could just hand build your cash lineup off the chalkboard. If you already are kind of aware that this is good chalk, this is bad chalk. If you follow the content throughout the week, you would have known Jordan Mason, Breece Hall. These were good chalk players. So, and at tight end, we had McBride, and then we had the value. We had the Parkinson. You typically want to pay down at tight end. McBride was in a good spot, but Parkinson, Shoemaker, Akins, these were going to be your cheap value guys that obviously were popping a little bit on the chalkboard. And then, I feel like if we go over to my cash sheet, very similar, right? So we had Mahomes, we had Daniels. I like Daniels a little bit more. We liked Breece Hall. We identified Jordan Mason as a core play. Charbonnet was a guy that I added to my sheet late. He did great in that spot. Pacheco got hurt, still 16 points. Kyron, 15. So overall, pretty good, with what we got here from the running backs. And then, identified Lamb as a play. But if you were playing, the thing was, if you were playing Breece Hall and you were playing Cooper Kupp, you weren't going to play CD Lamb, essentially. So I liked Cooper Kupp at his price a little bit better. Debo was the guy that I was very much on, as you saw. And then Chris Godwin was really the play over Rashee Rice. So, there were their value guys, DeMarcus Robinson, Yoshi Voss, as I said. But the biggest difference between me cashing and not cashing this week, being profitable, would have been Godwin over Kyron. Had Kupp not got hurt too, still might have got there. But that's pretty much it for this week. Thank you for joining me for this review. We like to look back each week at our cash lineup, what worked, what went wrong, what we can do next time. So we will see you next week for another week in review. By the way, if you like these reviews, let us know. Hit that like button, comment, let me know how cash went for you this past week. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because we have a lot of content coming your way. We got 2-gamer on Monday. We got the normal showdown content. Of course, we got tournament tactics on Friday. The game plan on Thursday, probably my favorite show. So we got a lot of content coming your way. Make sure you hit that notification button so you don't miss the episode when we go live.